I'll message them to join in the. I'll message once to join. Yes, students, I think you all know that we are going to conduct second internals. You all know, no?
Yes, ma'am.
You know the syllabus?
Yes, ma'am. You posted.
Second module half, the remaining half, how much ever I have given for I had given for the first module. I mean first test, other than half module I had given for the first test, and the remaining half module will be for your second internals and the complete third module. In the complete third module, it will be there for your test. I think you're clear with the syllabus. Anybody have doubt in the syllabus? Doubt in the syllabus? So now students, quickly I'll start the class. So students, we were seeing about the IT professionals. In last class, we have seen the some of the rules of IT professionals. We have seen some of the rules and regulations of IT professionals. And here we have seen the how a person become a profession in his job, and we have also seen the relationship between the manager and the employee, relationship between the professionals and the client, relationship between the customers and the society, relationship between the IT professionals and IT users also we have seen. And in last class we have seen how should be the behavior of a how should be the behavior of a IT professional. See, no, this is not only for the IT professional, all for everybody. For everybody, it holds. It applies. For in ethics, there will be some set of rules. Everybody should follow the set of rules and the core value that are essential in the workplace. In last class, I have given the example also. If a person is working in Flipkart, and if he shift to Amazon, he should not reveal the secret information of Flipkart. So he should be loyal, whatever the job he is doing, he should be loyal for that. So next we have professional code of ethics can produce many benefits for the individuals, the professions and the society as a whole. So the professional, the whatever the ethics we follow, whatever the ethics we follow, so those ethics are very much important for everybody, every individual person, not only with respect to the job, not only with respect, not only to see, for example, if you are not behaving properly in the organization, or if you are not behaving properly in your workplace, then you may be removed from your job. Yes, you might be removed from your job. Why? Because you are not behaving properly, and you are not adhering the rules. You are not following the rules. No company will keep you for the job. Though you are so much, you have a lot of knowledge, you have a lot of programming skill, but the ethics should be very much important in your workplace. See, not only in your workplace, in a society also, if you want to survive with the society, the ethics is very important. You cannot behave however you want. Yes, you cannot behave however you want. And if you have a good ethics, then it will helpful for any decision making. I think you know, in villages and all, we panchayat will be there. For panchayat, one head will be there. So how the people nominate he as a head? Maybe he is having a good ethics. Maybe he is having a good ethics, and because of his good ethics, the people believe that he takes a correct decision. Yes, students, he takes a correct decision. So the ethics is very much important in decision making, and ethics is very much important for your promotion or promote high standards of a practice and ethical behavior. So in organization, we should encourage a ethical behavior. We should not encourage a non-ethical behavior. We should promote is nothing but we have to encourage the good ethical behavior. A non-ethical behavior or an unethical behavior person we should not encourage. What is the meaning of unethical behavior? However he wants, he is not following the rules, he is not following the principle, whatever the principles the organization has set, he is not following. We should not encourage that type of person. We should encourage the person who is the employees or the people who are following the ethical behavior, and enhance trust and respect from the general public. See, we have to, when we are working in an organization, we have to we should, the person or the employee who is working with us, he should have trust on us. If a person, if you're in MCA fourth semester, maybe you have four close friends, so they trust you. They four students trust you. That's why they have become close to you. If they are not behaving, if they are not trusting you, then they don't become a friends to you. So that's why we have to enhance the trust, and we should and respect from, we have to get a respect from the public. If I'm not behaving properly, if every time if I'm scolding my students, will they respect me? If they do any mistake, if they are not if they do any mistake, then if I scold them, then it is genuine. Without any mistake, without any mistake, if I scold any student, or if without any mistake, if I scold anybody, any person, then will they give respect to me? No, they don't give any respect to me. So we have to enhance the truth, and we should, and respect from the general public, and provide an evaluation benchmark. What is benchmark? A deadline. So we should provide an evaluation for the whatever the benchmark we have set. We have to find a evaluation to reach that benchmark. Students understood this? Students understood this? See, what this slide tells is, professional code of ethics means, assume that as a professional code of ethics, we have framed a few rules. By those rules, what are the benefits we'll get? Yes, by those rules, what are the benefits we get? The first benefit is decision making, and the second benefit is good ethical behavior, and the third benefit is trust and respect from general public, and the fourth benefit is it helps to reach our benchmark. Yes, students, understood? Please respond. Understood? Students, are you there? You understood the four points?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the professional code of ethics helps in decision making, standard ethical behavior, to promote a standard ethical behavior, to get a respect and trust from public people, and to reach the benchmark. Professional organizations. So, four of the most prominent IT related professional organizations are summarized. So here, few professional organization has summarized. So just they have I have listed out here some of the organizations. Next we have, see students here. Please mute. What is that sound? Please mute yourself. I think Harini. Harini, you're listening song or listening class?
Class, ma'am.
Okay. Because I thought that sound is from you. That music. Okay. Professional organization. Here, some of the organization I have listed out. So, Association for Computing Machineries. Association for Computing Machineries is a computing society found in the year 1947 that serves more than 80,000 professionals in more than 100 countries. This is a just list out of some of the professional organizations. Association of Information Technology Professional, and the third one is Computer Society of Computer Society of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer, and the Project Management Institute, PMI. So some of the institute they have listed out. And see, next we have certification. See, what is certification? What is the general meaning of certification? So somebody will certify. If you go to any class, if you go to any coaching class, 1 month coaching, assume that you have attended 1 month coaching class on testing. So for that you have paid some amount of money. For that you have paid some amount of money. At the end of that course, if they are not certifying, if they are not giving any certificate, you have completed this course and your knowledge, you have completed this course and now you are knowledgeable of this particular course. If you are not getting that certificate, then is it valid? Is it valuable? No. So for whatever the course we study, whatever the course we do, whether it is an online course or offline course, we should get a certificate. So without certificate, it is not valid. Yes, even if you complete your MCA degree, after completing MCA degree, you will get a certificate. Without a certificate, your degree is not valid. If you go and say I have completed MCA, then nobody will agree, because if you don't show the certificate. So that's why the certificate is very important. Now, why the certificate has come here is, when you want to issue a certificate, you should also have to follow some ethical behavior. You should also have to follow some ethical rules. Yes, simply I can, by using Photoshop, can I give certificate to my student? They have attended 3 days of workshop for professional communication and report writing. Can I give like that? No. So for that, some ethical rules I have to follow. I have to organize a workshop. I have to organize a workshop. I have to take permission from my head of the department, and I have to follow some proper channel. Using that proper channel, I have to take a permission. And once I take permission, see, simply if I don't have any knowledge of professional communication, simply I cannot say I am going to explain all these topics in my workshop, and after completing the workshop my students will have the knowledge of this course. I cannot say like that. So before I start the workshop, I should read I should decide what are the course I am going to explain in my workshop, or what are the topics I am going to explain in my workshop. Once I fix, or once I decide, then once my program schedule is decided, then I have to take a approval from my head of the department. After taking a approval from the department, next stage is the certification. How many students will participate? How to give the certificate? All this procedure will be there. Yes, students. All this procedure will be there. So I may not give the certificate. I can outsource the certificate. I can take a permit. I may go to some vendors to print the certificate. Yes. I may go to some vendors to print the certificates, and again on the certificate I have to decide whose sign should be there, my sign and my HOD sign and my principal sign. Or sometimes we may skip principal sign, or sometimes we may also include one more signature, maybe dean academics, or I may call some external person from external person who is very much who has a good knowledge about this professional communication and report writing, and I can take his signature also. Yes, I should, for to do all this. Why I am doing all this? Because all these are predefined rules. So if I am doing all this rule, then only my behavior, I am following the ethical rules here. If I am not asking any permission, if I am not giving any certificate, if I am not taking any signatures, just simply I am telling my students you have to pay 1,000 rupees for 3 days, or some amount of money for so many days, and you have to attend the class. And once you attend the class, I'll give the certificate. Is it a proper way of doing the certification course? No. So this is just an example I'm giving. So I think you have seen many of the IT professionals will be giving so many certificates. I think if you have heard Microsoft people, even they issue certificate. Simply will they issue certificate? No. You have to register for their course, and you have to attend their course. And if they are conducting any quiz, or if they are doing any exam, you have to attend. Only then you will get a certificate. Sun Microsystem. Will they give us a certificate simply? No. You have to follow whatever the rules they have set. You have to follow whatever the principles they have set. And if you attend that quiz or if you attend the workshop, and after attending the workshop, if they are taking any test, once you complete all the tests, then only you are eligible to take a certificate. Yes, students, you are agreeing for this? So this here in certification we have to follow all this. So certification indicates that in professional process possesses a particular set of skills, knowledge, or ability in the opinion of the certifying organization. Yes, if an organization is certifying me that I have completed, I have a knowledge of some particular course. So simply I cannot, they cannot give us a certificate, no. So it may be online, or if may it may be online or offline. First, they will deliver the course. They will deliver the course. Once they deliver the course, they will take a test. They'll take a test, they'll conduct a test, or if not test, maybe quiz, whatever the possible way of testing their participants. So based on that, so they'll test and then they will issue the certificate. Yes, no, students? Do you agree with this? So this certification indicates that a profession possesses a particular set of skills, knowledge, or ability in the opinion of the certifying organization. So now when you want to certify any organization, then what you do? So sir, yes sir, you know the 10 ನಿಮಿಷ sir. ತರ್ತೀನಿ ತರ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಇಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತು. Yes, student, I think you have heard NBA accreditation and NAC accreditation. Yes, please respond if whether you are understanding or not. Yes, Seema, you're understanding? Madhushri? See, whether you heard in NAC accreditation or NBA accreditation, I think you know that our college is NAC accredited and NBA accredited. How we get that certificate, NBA accredited and not NAC accredited? So for that, we have to apply for the certification. We have to apply for the organization, NAC organization or NBA organization. We have to apply for that, and they will come and they will certify that whether we are eligible to get accreditation of NAC or NBA. How they'll certify? They'll be having one format. In that format, we have to give a data to them. Once we give the data, so based on that data, they'll come and evaluate here. Whatever the data we have provided to them, whether it is genuine data or whether it is a fake data or whether it is a cooked up data. So if they feel it is a correct genuine data, then they will assign based on our skills, based on our knowledge, based on our ability. Maybe in that format, if they ask number of PhD holders, if we say 10 PhD holders, if they come to the organization and if they check only 4 or 5 PhD holders are there, then whatever the data I have submitted to them, whatever the data we have, that is not matching. Then they are not happy with the data whatever I have provided. Then we may not get a certificate. We may not get a accreditation. So yes, students, you are able to relate the example whatever I am giving. So if any organization or if any organization wants to get some certification on any course or any organization, then some predefined rules will be there. If we are satisfying those predefined rules, then only we are eligible to get a certificate. Yes, indicates that a professional possesses a particular set of skills, knowledge, or ability in the opinion of the certifying organization. There may be different types of certification: vendor certification, industry association certification. So there may be different types of certification: vendor certification and industry association certification. Next, we have government licensing. I think In fourth semester, which all the lab we have? Advanced web lab we have, and advanced Java lab we have, and OOMD lab we have. See, for advanced web lab and advanced Java lab, we are using open source. But for SD lab, we can use open source software also. But in our college, what we are using? What we are using? We are using a licensed software. Yes, students, we are using licensed software now. Why we are using licensed software? Because we want to use all the features of that particular software. So that's why we don't want any pirated software, or we don't want any trial version. So that's why we have paid so much amount to get a license of that OAS, Rational Row software. So after paying so much money, then they'll give a license to use that particular software. Yes, students, you're understanding. So to give this, to use that particular rational rows, so we have to get a license from which company? IBM, because rational rows is developed by IBM. So we have to get a license from IBM. Similarly, if you want to purchase any, or if you want to use any software from government, then government have to give license to us to use that particular software. And to develop such types of software also, the company has to take permission from government. Without taking a permission from government, the company cannot develop any such software. So they have to take a permission from government. That is nothing but government licensing. Is generally administrated at that state level in United States. So in US, they have set some of the rules for issuing the government license. The case of licensing IT professionals. So for IT professionals, they have some set of rules to give a license. Issues associated with government licensing of IT professionals. So some of the issues will be there to see without any issue, we don't get any software. So whatever issues means, they will be asking some of the queries, some of the questions, whatever the questions they ask to us. It may be in the form of oral questions, or it may be in the form of a application or a document. If you to register any of the course, or to install any of the software, they'll ask for registration form. Students, we have to give our details. So similarly here also, to apply the license, or to get the license from the government for any IT professionals, so we have to follow the proper channel. So if we have any issues, then they will sort out the issues, and they will give the license to any of the software which we want to develop. There are few international and national licensing program for IT professionals. So because many of our software companies are US based companies, or other, not only US, from other some companies are from Australia, some companies are from England. So other company, we are working on the foreign based companies. So the IT professionals are working on a foreign based company. So that's why in some situations we have to take a license from both national and international. It is based on the situations. If they are working in a Indian company, then national licensing is enough. If they are working on any foreign based company, then international licensing is also needed. So why we need national and international licensing is, there is no universally accepted core body of knowledge. It is so there is no universally accepted team is not there. Body means a team, members, or the you can say the office is not there universally accepted. This software is universally accepted. Do you heard such type of software? Do you heard such type of software, or any organization or any company is providing such type of software? That software is used universally? No, we don't have such type of software. So that's why we have to take a permission from both national and international. Again, it depends. If you are using a national software, you have to take you have to take license from national. I mean, in your government. If you are using any international software, then you have to take a license from that particular company. It is unclear who should manage the contest and administration of the licensing exams. Yes, in some situations you may have to pass the exams also. So again, the administrator will take care of all this. Administrator will take care of all this. So based on the exam, based on your knowledge, they will provide you the licensing for that particular software. Students, you are understanding, no? See, if you are not understanding any point, you please stop me. There is no administrative body to accredit, accredit professional education program. So as I told previously, so there is no such body, or there is no such company or organization is there to provide software for any professional, or to give in knowledge, or to educate any IT professionals on any of the licensing issues. So that's why they have to take permission from both national and international. There is no administrative body to access and ensure competence of individual professionals. Yes, there is nobody is there to talk about the confidence or competency of any individual professionals. So that's why we have to take a license from both national and international. IT professional malpractice. When the malpractice happens, generally, when the malpractice happens, assume that you are writing a test, and I may be the room invigilator there. I may be the room invigilator there, and my students are writing test. When the malpractice happens, when I am not taking care properly, when I'm not attentive, when I'm not taking care properly, I'm neglecting, let them write however they want. And I go out of the classroom and I talk to I go to lab and sit there, or I stand near the door and talk to other faculty. When I'm not showing much of concentration, when I'm neglecting, that time, yes, students, that time, the students will do malpractice, correct, no? Yes, students. Yes, so similarly, see, when I am not doing my duty properly, see, as a invigilator, I have to do my job properly. I have to take care of the class, and I should not allow any student to do copy. Copy is nothing but to malpractice. I should not allow any students to do malpractice. That is my responsibility. If I am not doing my responsibility properly, then what happens? Then what happens? If I don't do my responsibility properly, then definitely my students will do malpractice. So that's why I have to do my job properly. So here, IT professional malpractice, the negligence has been defined as not doing something that a reasonable man would do, or doing something that a reasonable man would not do. Duty of care referred to the obligation to protect people against any unreasonable harm or risk. So whatever the duty I have assigned to a person. Why I have assigned the person? Why I am doing the invigilation duty? What is the reason? Because the test is going on. Yes, the test is going on, so that's why they have assigned me that duty. So because of some reason only I'm doing the duty, no. So here also, So because of some reason, we are developing a software. IT professional is developing a software. So they have, whatever the duty assigned to them, because of some reason, they have to do it properly. They have to do it properly. They should not show any negligence. They should not show any negligence. If they show any negligence, if they show any negligence, then what happens? Then that without any reason, unreasonable harm or risk will occur. Yes, students, you understood this? Please respond. So next we have IT users. What the IT users um, common ethical issues for IT users is software piracy. Yes, this is a common issues which the IT users face: software piracy, inappropriate use of computing resources, inappropriate share of information. These are all the issues where the IT users may face. Supporting the ethical practice of IT users. So how to support? How to support for the ethical practice of IT users? Defining and limiting the appropriate use of IT resources. Yes, so we have to limit who all has to use and how much has to have to use. So we have to define and limit the appropriate use of IT resources. Establishing guidelines for use of company software. Yes, if Microsoft has developed a new version of MS Office as a company employee, as a company employee, I can use that software, but I'm not allowed to give that software to my friend. Yes, I'm not allowed to give that software to my friend, but by cheating to my company, I am giving that software to my friend. So that should not be happened. So we have to establish the guidelines for use of a company software, structuring information system to protect data and information. We have to form a proper structuring, proper guidelines or proper security to protect the company data or to protect the company information. Installing and maintaining the corporate firewall. So we have to install the firewalls what to avoid the to avoid the unnecessary access of any software or any data. Students understood this. Here I have completed third module. Students understood? Please respond. Sarfraz, now you joined. When you joined, Sarfraz? Yes, students, you understood whatever I explained.
Yes, ma'am.
See limitation. What are the how we have to support the ethical practice of IT users, and what are the common issues of IT users, and how the malpractice happens in the IT professional. And here we have some of the points to get a national and international license. To get national and international, see, to get a license, the administrator will be the main boss. So administrator responsibility is that to take a permission for the license and certification. Understood, students? Any doubt? So till here you have for your test. Till here you have for your test. So 30 questions will be there for your internals. So you have to attend, you have to answer 30 questions. See, compared to other subject, in my subject, many of the students got very less marks. In my subject, highest is only 23. I don't want this time the same marks. I want my students to get more than 25 marks. See, if you have any doubts, if you have not understood any of the slide, any of the PPT, you please come back to me. I'll explain.